Chapter 38. What are you doing? Father Jiao asked as he looked at Yuanzi, who was fooling around. I'm just bowing to your cat. Our $1 million order depends on your cat. Who knows what good things your cat will do for us in the future. Yuanzi straightened the chopsticks in the black rice porridge. Come on, another bow. Do you believe in ghosts and gods? I don't remember the old man having such a tendency. The Jiaopa said. The old man is a pure researcher. He doesn't believe in those things, but the old lady does. The few of them would also mention Old Master Yuan when they were chatting with each other. It was as if Old Master Yuan was still there, and they would not deliberately avoid it. Yuanzi put the bowl and chopsticks back on the table, turned around and sat down. He asked the Jiaopa, "Oh right, you are going to the neighboring province for a meeting the day after tomorrow, right?" "Yes, there is an annual academic meeting there. I'm going to attend it. A few big names will be there this year. It's a rare opportunity," the Jiaopa said. "That's great. After the annual meeting you can come with me to take a look at the equipment. Yesterday I contacted the boss of a biological company there. His company had an accident and he is not going to continue operating the company. He's going to sell some of the equipment. I contacted him and asked him to keep it for us. We can go take a look at it. Some of the equipment is still under warranty. The boss said that the warranty cards and receipts are still with them. I'm thinking that if it's okay to look at them we should buy them first. After all, a new equipment is too expensive. Some of the businesses our company is taking on now don't need those high-end and complicated functions. It's fine as long as they are practical. Okay, I'll contact you then. When are you leaving?" "I'm going tomorrow with an engineer. I'm just going to take a look first. After all, the second-hand equipment is worth tens of thousands. Some of them cost at least 100,000. The boss won't sell the more expensive equipment at a low price. For a giant like Chongwei Group this amount of money is nothing. But we are tight on funds now. We can't waste money." The Jiaopa was going on a business trip. There were many things he had to arrange before he left. Jiao Ma's follow-up examination results were very good. She had almost recovered. Jiaopa could also go on his business trip without worrying too much about his family. As for her work in the institute, the most stressful time had passed, and the research project was progressing smoothly. Xian had already submitted a paper with a good impact factor to a foreign magazine ahead of her classmates, and another paper was still being prepared. She was probably going to be selected for an excellent master's degree and a national scholarship next year. Jiaopa was on a business trip and would only be back in 3 or 4 days. Xingtan also didn't go out at night during this period. The temperature at night was low. Now Xingtan could not wear a real leather jacket or a down jacket like when he was still a human. He only had short hair. Jiao Ma had bought Xingtan a small cotton-padded jacket for pet cats, but Xingtan never wore it. It was very restrictive and troublesome. He couldn't even stretch himself to climb a tree. Therefore now Xingtan would only go out for a walk during the day except for running and climbing trees in the morning. The weather was good and the sun was just right. Otherwise why would he go out? Looking for trouble? Xingtan went to the woods to play for half a day in the morning. He went home for lunch at lunchtime and then wandered to the Institute of Biological Sciences. He looked around and found that the window of Jiaopa's office was not locked. Xingtan jumped from the branch to the windowsill and looked inside. If there were other people he wouldn't go in. Fortunately there was only Xian in the office. At this moment, Xian was lying on the table taking a nap. Xian was not other people. Speaking of which, this guy could be regarded as half a nanny of the Jiao family. He had helped to pick up children, take care of cats, and help Jiaopa with his undergraduate thesis. Where else could he find such a good student? Xingtan opened the window with his paws and jumped in. The computer was on. Xian was sorting out his second thesis. It was all in English. Xingtan didn't understand many professional names and Latin words. He was too lazy to read them. He was not interested. However, Xingtan was interested in a small notebook next to Xian. This was not Xian's experimental record book. Xingtan had seen the experimental record books used by people at the Institute of Biological Sciences. They were much bigger than this one. However, it was obvious that this small notebook was frequently used. Could it be that there was another little secret? Xingtan was interested. He was so bored that his balls hurt. He had to find some fun to make himself happy and kill time. Creak, creak, creak. He. Hearing the sound from the side, Xingtan was about to open the small notebook. He thought that his secret had been discovered. He looked up and saw that Xian was still sleeping. There was no sign of her waking up. She was grinding her teeth while taking a nap. Not only was she grinding her teeth but she was also smiling. It was very scary. Jing Tan pulled his ears and withdrew his attention. He hooked his paws and opened the small notebook. A lot of things were recorded in the notebook. The first few pages were brief records of some large academic reports. Although Xian's handwriting was not very good, the format was neat and the records were in order. However, Jing Tan was still quite disappointed. Anyway, he felt that these things were boring. Just as he was about to close it, Jing Tan's gaze fell on the edge of the small notebook. It was obvious that the back of the small notebook was often flipped. Therefore, Jing Tan simply flipped to the last few pages of the small notebook. Then Jing Tan saw Xian's accompanying records and excerpts. The more he read, the more speechless Jing Tan was. There were many excerpts of poems in it. There were quite a lot of types recorded in it, but it was obviously not the ordinary poems but professional poems. Why did he say that? There was a lingering type such as, I think of you like an antibody thinking of an antigen. Your beauty is the choline that makes me impulsive. Several spring and autumn seasons are countless sleepless nights. Every base represents our eternal vow. Looking forward to such a day we can meet again, intertwining into the most beautiful double helix in the world. There was a sorrow type such as, heart dividing like the centromere in the late stage of cell division. We are also like the chromosome moving to a different side, covered by the fog-long pavilion, ancient road, fragrant grass and green sky. Only our figures are fading finally like the chromosome at the end, unable to see. There was a confusion type such as, the afterglow of the setting sun. The plants in the afterglow are translucent as if you can see wisps of oxygen emerging from the chloroplasts. You're reducing carbon dioxide to sugar, silently gathering energy. Everything is so hurried. Are they also worried about the silence in the night, hesitation in the silence? There was also a nauseating type such as, you are the nucleus, you control my genetics and metabolism. You are the mitochondria, without you, I lose energy. You are the chloroplasts, let me have new nourishment. You are the lysosome, you can dissolve everything in me at any time. Actually, you are the ribosome, capture me like amino acids. You are the endoplasmic reticulum, process me like protein. You are the Golgi, wrap me up and give me up so easily. Why? I still love you so much. There was even a deep type such as, the figure of the great man gradually drifts away like individuals turning into clouds in the river of time. Their thoughts are precipitating in the think tank like genes in the gene library, passed down from generation to generation, reorganizing the minds of the predecessors, making us no longer simple. Like genetic recombination, variations are numerous and common. Quietly, I think my kind of thinking, is it genetic recombination or mutation? The person who wrote these poems, Jing Tan, could only think that the person must have been possessed by deoxynucleotides, ribonucleotides and amino acids at that moment. Closing the small book, Jing Tan wagged his tail, jumped off the desk and left through the window. When he left, he closed the window on his way out. Coming out of the biology building, Jing Tan walked to the East family area. Walking in the flowers and grass, when he passed a corner, Jing Tan heard someone talking about something again. Jing Tan often heard it in the past 2 days. It was said that a senior student was found hanged in the dormitory. The rumor was that it was because he failed too many subjects and was too stressed. When Jing Tan heard it, he didn't think too much about it. This kind of thing was not rare, and it was not an isolated phenomenon in a certain university. I heard from my classmate that the police found some sexy handcuffs, tape, masks and even anesthetics in his cupboard. There was also a small DVD player in the locked cupboard, and the CD case was filled with some perverted and heavy-flavored discs. Jing Tan's footsteps paused. Hearing this, he suddenly thought of something. Did Director Zhao and Zhao Lu really do something? That's quite efficient. Also, Jing Tan heard from Jiao Pa and Yuan Zi that Director Zhao had some background. He could even find out the details of his cat, so it shouldn't be difficult for Director Zhao to find someone. Also, he was ruthless enough to cut off the person's escape route. After perking up his ears to eavesdrop on the students' discussion, Jing Tan pulled his ears and continued to walk towards the Eastern family area. However, before he could take 2 steps, Jing Tan heard a brother on a bicycle shouting to his classmates, "Quick, there's a large group of foreign guests heading towards the International Academic Lecture Hall. Brothers, hurry up and grab a seat. Otherwise, there won't even be a place to stand." Jing Tan was shocked. A large group of foreign guests. International Academic Lecture Hall? It didn't seem far from here. Zheng Tan turned a corner and headed towards the International Academic Lecture Hall. He was about to run over, but before he could accelerate, he saw a figure jump out from the grass. It ran in front of Zheng Tan and suddenly stopped. It moved sideways, raised its white glove-like paw and waved it at Zheng Tan twice. Zheng Tan wasn't in the mood to play with it. He was still confused. Why was the sheriff here? Shouldn't he be taking a nap near the east area? The person that ran out was the sheriff. Not long after the sheriff ran out, Zheng Tan saw Huang and Depang. Zheng Tan turned his head and saw a chihuahua being led by its owner towards the school gate. The sheriff must have run over because he was tired of the chihuahua. Huang was just there to join in the fun. Depang was still following behind slowly. Its eyelids were half closed as if it was not interested in anything. Zheng Tan was thinking about the large group of foreign guests. He continued to run towards the International Academic Lecture Hall. Unsurprisingly, the other 3 cats were following behind him. There were quite a lot of people at the International Academic Lecture Hall. Fortunately, there were big trees on both sides of the road in front of the lecture hall. Zheng Tan climbed up a sycamore tree near the entrance of the lecture hall. He squatted on a branch and looked around. The large group of foreign guests didn't seem to be here yet. Seeing Zheng Tan squatting on the branch, the other 3 cats ran over one after another. The 4 cats squatted side by side. Zheng Tan turned his head and looked at the 3 cats beside him. He continued to look for the large group of foreign guests. There were indeed quite a lot of people outside the lecture hall. After the doors of the lecture hall opened, the people waiting were led in by the staff. The foreign guests arrived 5 minutes later. A few school leaders were there and the principal personally accompanied them. It seemed that the foreign guests this time were very influential in the academic world. But what about the large group of foreign guests? Where did the large group of foreign guests come from? Most of them were men in their 30s and above. Zheng Tan did not consider that this big wave was not as big as the big wave he was talking about. However, after a careful search, Zheng Tan found 2 good-looking women among the group of foreign guests. Only the 2 assistant blonde girls caught Zheng Tan's eye. Their perky breasts made one's imagination run wild. Zheng Tan was looking at the big-breasted girl when a group of people walked towards the lecture hall. When they passed by the sycamore tree, a middle-aged professor stopped and asked his assistant to take a photo. This professor was also a cat lover. His family also raised cats on the other side of the ocean. He suddenly saw 4 cats here and their expressions were quite similar to his own cats. Therefore he wanted to take a photo. When the professor came under the tree, his assistant came over and took a photo. While taking a photo of the person, he also took a photo of the 4 cats squatting in a row on the tree. At the bottom of the tree, Zheng Tan and the rest were squatting on a branch that was 4 or 5 meters above the ground. In order to take a photo of the person and the cats, the assistant changed several angles and distances. The other people laughed at the side. They didn't disturb him and didn't go up to take a photo. Some people were not interested in the cats and some people were embarrassed. Didn't they see the people around them laughing? However, no one would have expected that this photo, which included a person and 4 cats, would be enlarged in the future and left on the wall of Tsinghua University's exquisitely decorated academic report hall's celebrity profiles. Below the photo, the text introduced the professor in the photo who won the Nobel Prize in Physics. The background of the photo was the International Academic Lecture Hall of Tsinghua University. However, everyone who saw this enlarged photo would be attracted by the 4 cats squatting side by side on the branch. They would stop in front of the photo for a long time and discuss with their companions what the scene was like when the photo was taken. Why did the 4 cats squat there? Some people guessed that the 4 cats had predicted the future Nobel Prize in Physics winner and came over. Some people guessed that this was a deliberate arrangement by the university. They knew that the person liked cats, so they trained the 4 cats to squat there in advance.